Dale Carnegie famously said, everybody is always listening to their favorite radio station, WIIFM, or What's in It for Me. One of the most widely acclaimed non-fiction books in the past 50 years is The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. And in this book, he explained with extreme detail how all animals are programmed with genes that say, only take any kind of action if I am going to benefit. Furthermore, we're all programmed with this drive that says, if I'm going to expend my precious energy and resources, I need to maximize my return on investment. So there's a program, a deep program that says, if I'm going to do anything, I want to minimize what I do and maximize what I get. So all animals, including humans, are programmed with a very deep, very ancient set of structures and programs that say, number one, don't do anything unless I'm going to benefit. Two, if I do something, I'm going to minimize what I do and maximize what I get. That's why the best relationships you can ever create, either in real life with other humans or in nature from a biological standpoint, are ones with overlapping selfishness, where both people are doing something together, where they both get their subjective selfish needs met for their own reasons. This is coevolution, and it happens all over the wild kingdom, the animal kingdom, the insect and plant kingdom. Bees and flowers are a fantastic example. The bees think they're getting free nectar. The flowers think they're getting some kind of a free pollination service, but they do this together. They evolve together, even though there's nothing connected with their DNA, but they both benefit. And this is how the best relationships are created. Overlapping selfishness. This is the best thing you can do if you're an adult moving through the world. The problem is there are generally two phases in life, the childhood phase and the adult phase. When we are in the childhood phase, we don't think in terms of overlapping selfishness. All we think of in terms is I want, therefore somebody give me. I want, therefore somebody give me. But when we transition into adults, we have to adopt the adult model of mutual benefit. I want something, therefore what can I provide to them so they can provide something to me in exchange? This is the only successful operational model. The problem is, in our modern world, everybody has different desires. Everybody has a huge collection of desires. But we have this deep program that says, go after my desires, but spend as little as I can and get as much as I can. And everybody you see, your friends, your family, the people that you work with, they all have different desires. And within our collection of desires, they are massive. Our purpose essentially is to achieve desires. We move through life. And when we move through life, the main goal is to satisfy desires. Your goal in life is to have a whole collection of desires and satisfy your desires in any way that you can. That is what drives our daily behavior. That's what drives our second by second subconscious behavior, to satisfy desires and avoid bad situations, or to have good experiences or avoid bad experiences. And within this way that we think about desires, everybody has what can be called metaphorically a desire map. And everybody's desire map is different. Way back in the days of hunter-gatherers, where we evolved, everybody had the same desires because life was very, very simple. Everybody wanted the same thing because there weren't that many things to want. Food, shelter, that was it. But today, because there's so much stuff you can get, so many ways you can satisfy your desires, everybody's desire map is massively different. And inside of somebody's desire map, there are the things we want, the things we don't want. The things we want in the short term, the things we want in the long term, the things we're willing to do to get what we want, our feelings of confidence or anxiety associated with the things that we want. All of our memories of getting things we wanted in the past, all of our memories of trying and failing in the past, all of our hopes, which are kind of desires that we don't think we'll get or we don't think we're capable of getting, so they just live out in wish land. Everybody's desire map is different, and everybody's desire map is subjective to themselves. And most people don't have a very clear idea of what their desire map is. They just know they like good experiences and they don't like bad experiences. So if you come to somebody, or if we're inside our desire map, and somebody comes at us and starts talking to us, that thing that they are saying, unless it just happens to resonate consciously or unconsciously with the stuff that exists in our desire map, we're going to not be interested. We're going to say, leave me alone. This is why sales and seduction and persuasion is such a low probability idea, a low probability endeavor. Because if someone comes at you, comes at me, comes at anybody, and starts talking about the stuff that exists outside their head, unless these ideas resonate with this deep inner desire map, it's going to be a mismatch, and we're going to not want to listen to that message. Everybody projects their ego out into the world. Everybody looks at the world subconsciously, usually, mostly, with this desire map filter. What can I get? What can I avoid? Can I get that easily? If it's too easy or if it's too difficult, I'll do it next time. And so we have this very, very convoluted, very, very complicated, very, very detailed, very, very ever-changing desire map. So now that you know this, now that you understand this, you know the secret of how to become very, very persuasive, how to become very, very charismatic. Imagine you're in a foreign country and you go into a convenience store and they don't speak English and you keep saying, give me a whatever they're selling there, but they're like, I don't understand you. Then you look at your Google translator on your phone and you blah, 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 and you show them, oh yeah, I understand. That's what happens when you talk to people from the outside. It's like speaking in a different language. But when you elicit their desire map, when you find out what's important to them, when you become curious about what's in their desire map and ask them questions. Ask them about what they want. Ask them about what they think about in the future, their ideal situation, and slowly build out their desire map. And if you do this carefully enough, if you do this with rapport, if you build rapport first and then ask questions to build out their desire map, you will know exactly what they want. So when you come at them with your idea second, after you build out their desire map, you'll know exactly what words and phrases to use. You'll be able to speak their language. It'll be like in the convenience store where you show the clerk your app and they, oh yeah, I see it. And then you make a deal and you create a mutually beneficial relationship. The only thing you need to do to be able to leverage this process so you can become charismatic, so that you can become more persuasive, is to turn off your instinctive desire to lead with your ego, to lead with what you want, to lead with what you think is important. One of the most dangerous words when it comes to persuasion is the word should, because we look inside our own desire maps and we think these are not subjective, but we delude ourselves into thinking that our desires and the reason for wanting our desires are somehow objective. And because they're objective, we think other people should want the same thing. And so we come up with something we want them to do, but it's based on our desires, not their desires. And this leads to misfiring and mismatching and not very good conversations. But if you just temporarily turn off your own internal ego instinct, if you temporarily turn off your own desire to tell them what to do and ask them what they want, and then phrase your message in terms of their desire language, it will be much more likely to be accepted, and you'll be much more likely to create a mutually beneficial relationship. And even if you just want to have a friendly conversation where you are perceived as very, very charismatic, you can still use the same process. Turn off your ego. Turn off your desire to tell them about all the wonderful things in your head. And just listen to them talk about themselves. Ask them about what they want. Keep asking about what they want. And while they're doing that, you'll see their desire language. So when later you try to suggest something, you can use the phrases and words in their desire language and feed them back to them. And that will significantly increase the probability that you can create a positive outcome. If you'd like to learn more, check out the links below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.